Morning, Mrs Critchley's group, and today with our spelling we're going to be looking at the rule ing after a y. So we kind of started and touched upon this yesterday, but we're going to be looking at when we have a y at the end of a root word and then we want to add a suffix to it, what do we have to sometimes do? Not in all cases, but what do we have to do? So let's have a little look at today's learning. So when we have to add a suffix to a word ending in y, we have some choices. We have to change it to an I or keep it as a y. Okay, so there are choices, but you can't have a double I, so you always keep it when you add an ing. So when you're adding ing to a word, we can't have double I. Okay, so we can't change it to an I because we can't have double I. So you always keep it when you add ing. So dry, we can't drop that y and put another I in there and make it drying. So we have to keep it as dry and then just add the ing. So when you are adding ing to a word that ends in y, you can't change anything because it will become I. There are a couple of rules that don't follow that, but that most of them, the majority, follow that rule. So dry becomes drying, hurry becomes hurrying. We're not dropping anything, we're not changing it because we can't have I. We can't have that double I. It doesn't make sense, it doesn't look right when you add ing to a word. So we've got these words that have ended in y or ended in other letters and have been added to make ing. So we've got flying, pushing, marrying, sleeping, crying and jumping. So what were the root words? What were they before? And which ones ended in y? And have I kept my y or have I changed it? And can you explain why? Pause the screen and have a go now. Okay, well done. So flying would have been fly, and we would have kept our y because we can't have that double I. Pushing would have been push, and again we've done nothing because we've got our vowel in there, but it's not lonely because it's got two letters after it, so it becomes pushing. Marry ends in y, but we're not going to double that I, so we just add marrying. Sleeping, we've got the word sleep. Here it is, sleep, and we just add ing to the word sleep. Okay, so it becomes sleeping, like this. Cry, we've got the word cry, and again, it's got our y at the end, but we're not going to change anything because we can't have that double I. And jump, if I look at jump as my root word, it's got my lonely vowel U, then it's got two letters after it, so I don't have to do anything, I just have to add my ing. So here are some words now, and think really carefully. Are you going to change it or are you going to keep it? Because you're adding ing to it. Okay, so the first one is try, so it's going to become trying. Carry, what's that going to become? Fry, what's that going to become? And play, what will that become? So pause the screen and write the words now. Okay, so the words you should have got should be trying, carrying, frying, and playing. And at the end, you should have kept all of your y's, because if you dropped them and put an I, you then would have had double I, and that doesn't quite make sense, okay? So be really careful today that when you've got a y, but you're adding ing, you can't drop it and put an I in there, because that would just look odd. Next one, have a go at these words. Hurry, enjoy, worry, and stay. What will these words become when we add ing to them? What will they become? Off you go. Pause the screen now. Okay, fantastic. So it become hurrying, we keep that y because otherwise it would be the double I. Enjoying, we keep the y. Worrying, keep the y. Staying, we keep the y. Okay, and all of them we keep the y, because otherwise if we dropped it and we put an I, it wouldn't make sense. But also in enjoy and in staying, I mentioned this yesterday, they're part of that sound, they're part of that diagraph. It's enjoy. Oi, it's got the oi sound at the end. It's stay. It's got a diagraph. If you took the y away, it's also breaking up a diagraph as well. And the last ones, you've got some other words you've got to decide what you've got to do, how you're going to spell them. We've got grunt, study, annoy, and sleep. How are we going to spell these words? What are we going to do? Are we going to change anything? Are we going to double anything? What are we going to do? Off you go. Pause the screen now. Okay, and the answer is we're going to keep everything the same and just add ing on the end. So grunting, we've got our lonely vowel but it's got 2 letters after it, NT. We don't have to double anything, we just add ing. Studying, we keep our Y because otherwise it'd be a double I and we don't want that. Annoy, we keep our Y because otherwise if we drop it and put an I in there, it just won't make sense. And sleep will become sleeping, and we've got the E sound in the middle. So we've got that E sound, but it's a part of a digraph. It's got 2 letters, it's got a friend, it's a long vowel, not a short one, so we don't have to do anything. So all of these words would just have the ing on the end. So here are all the words that end in Y, and when we add ing to them, they would just become the same word, okay? We just add ing and we wouldn't change anything. There are some exceptions. So skiing, for example, you do have the double I, and taxiing, when they both already end in I and they have to double so they do have a double I when the ing is added, but they're exceptions to the rule. The majority of words do not have double I in them. So see if today you can make some words with these words, make some ing words, and then see if you can use them to make a little story today. See if you can put them into a story and see how many of these words you can use in total. Okay, and you can email any of them over to us at year2@thepalmeracademy.com. Enjoy the rest of your morning and I'll see you later. Bye for now.